Chapter 11, Mother Earth, the New Religion. A true scientist is a skeptic who tests valid arguments using reasoning and logic. Eventually, and somewhat oversimplified, the scientist asks the question, does it or does it not? A true scientist applies numerous competing methods of scientific reasoning. We have a basic flaw when it comes to scientific thinking. Our brains are hardwired to believe cognitive heuristics before rational thought. Cognitive heuristics, such as previous experiences, can lead to cognitive bias. A true scientist can bypass this first response using the brain's secondary processes of rational analytical thought as its primary line of reasoning. A true scientist questions everything, even his own conclusion. Thus, science is never settled. Postulating that they alone believe and govern by science, while we conservatives govern only by religious faith and capitalistic greed, as represented by rich white men. In actuality, a leftist only uses science when it suits them to forward their agenda. They claim to have a wisdom and enlightenment, but neither their arguments and reasoning prove otherwise, exposing intolerance. Despite what the leftists may claim, there is no consensus in science, especially when dealing with global warming. Conservatives must learn to use logic effectively, for logic and rational argumentation are your allies when debating the leftists. A philosophy course taught me that logic is intellectual self-defense against such assaults on reason, and a method of quality control for checking the validity of your own views. Chapter 12, the Enlightened One. We as conservatives, leftists claim, are anti-intellectual and anti-science. The leftists arrogantly declare themselves to be superior party of intelligentsia, the informed, the elite, and the enlightened. On further examination, one finds leftists to be light years away from the truth. The leftist misguided contention is based on a belief feeling rather than rational logic. They would never consider they could be wrong in their thoughts, beliefs, and logic. When you feel, you no longer take your thought actions further. There is no further thought process. When you reason and meditate, you weigh the consequences of your actions and actions of others. Conservatives, unfortunately, believe objective truth matters, and that when you logically present all the facts, leftists will accept those facts and change their view. This doesn't happen, because there's too much to lose for a leftist to admit he's wrong about the facts. A true leftist will never change his or her mind. Thus, a conservative will never win a debate against the leftist lie. There is just too much at stake with the leftist agenda. There is just too much at stake within the leftist agenda. The left refuses to be confused or burdened by pertinent facts because facts do not propagate and implement leftist policies and programs. Chapter 13, Evil Never Sleeps. The left believes that as 21st century people, they are immune to or intelligent enough to stop themselves from committing atrocities. But we are human, and we are mistaken if we ignore God and what religious scholarly writings have revealed for more than 2,000 years. Humanity has a weakness, and it is sin driven by wants placed above God's desires. Christian sanctity contains two things: the knowledge of God and the knowledge of self. Morality should and must stand the test of time. Veritable, authentic, faithful. Morality is timeless. It cannot be bent and shaped like situational ethics. We as a modern society do not lack moral knowledge. We willfully choose not to follow morality. Even the most righteous can sin. It's human nature. God knew that. Our ancestors knew that. We form communities called churches, synagogues, and the like to strengthen our resolve to prevent us from succumbing to those temptations to sin. Religion is rational thought to those who are religious, or those who are religious and are not a bunch of uneducated, poverty-stricken hicks who blindly follow some cultish despot. Religion creates curiosity. We seek proof and truth, and thus create the foundation for intelligent thought. Religion begins with free will, while government, especially leftist government, does not. True conservatism puts God first, family second, and I would argue country third. We take God seriously. Church is about community. It is a team. No athlete in any sport excels alone. To reach the next hurdle or caliber of performance, you either need to coach and or a competition to see where you place within the fold. God is our coach, and church members becomes our teammates. Church can be a paradox to outsiders, especially atheists. Confused from their anti-religion, they call active Christians hypocrites, nuts, and other derogatory terms. But the devil is pervasive, persuasive, secretive, full of falsehoods, and a master of subterfuge. In today's world, the devil smiles while God weeps. Evil never sleeps. The left is intent on eroding and destroying our religious institutions to weaken our resolve and legitimize their sins so they will not be repentant. The left has no moral standards. They have nothing to cherish other than their leftist institution. Their moral authority bends whichever the wind blows. Essentially, the new flavor of the month. I liken it to AstroTurf. Fake. Eliminating faith and godly devotion weakens one's resolve. It forces people to put their trust, devotion, and allegiance in government, an institution of brick, mortar, and bureaucratic human leadership. People weak in faith can be controlled.